Crazy. It is that time to get started, get everybody. It is lunchtime. It's an exciting time of day. And we're about to start this stream. Mhm, mhm. Whoa, wrong buttons. Whoa, clickety clack. We gotta make this a smooth transition. We are now public and live on multiple platforms. We are on Twitch currently. We are on YouTube. We are on Facebook through the Creative Tech group that we've created. And we are also on my personal profile where I've been streaming and practicing with friends, preparing to do these actual live streams. So yeah, this is a little nerve-wracking, but at the same time, I'm only human, and we're at the very beginning of this whole initiative, the Creative Tech. My name's Joseph Sunderman. I'm the owner of Icora, which is a service provider here in Cincinnati that does more than just provide services. We actually do secure IT management for the modern workforce. And there's a lot to unpack in that, secure IT management for the modern workforce. So there's a lot to unpack there. And understanding, what you do as a business, understanding what you do as an individual, as a professional, and really, working with technology and people and adopting technology. It's taught me so much about myself over the decades, and I've gotten older and hopefully wiser, maybe calmed down a little bit. But yeah, as I go through different seasons of life, as we all do, I during the pandemic, I think it was very difficult for a lot of us. I mean, a lot of us probably enjoyed it for certain reasons, but it still came with its challenges, regardless of how you perceived it holistically. And for me, it was a time to shine, right? Technology is amazing, and being able to continue your operation seamlessly. Some companies couldn't help it. Factory workers couldn't come to work, and you need people on that assembly line and working close to each other. And when that production halts, safety comes first. And there were still companies and people out there that were still claiming to be essential in doing things, because work is important. Being able to go to the gas station and get gas to get in your car and go somewhere. Just imagine if infrastructure actually shut down, if the world just stopped, if everybody just quit doing their jobs. Think about how detrimental that would be. So during the pandemic, I took some time to work on myself. If you know me from growing up, I would say I was never a violent person growing up. I had people pick on me. I was the kid that was getting picked on. But as I got older and more confident and found my identity over time, I realized that, I'm a big guy. I can be very loud. I can be very intimidating, and I can get aggressive to get my way. And that's something I have a tendency to do. If I see something not going well, I don't start at 10, but I can get to 10. And it usually takes quite a bit for me to get there, but I'd get results by getting to 10. Are you kidding me? No, that's not going to happen. Just coming down on people being shitty. That showed them that I was serious, and this is important, and to fix this and not have this, we need to get it right. And yeah, you get results with that, but at what cost? So, children have helped a lot with my development. Having kids is probably the biggest teacher there is. And for those of you that, don't have children by choice, good for you on knowing who you are and what you want out of life. And I hope that works out the way you want it to as you get older. For those of you that can't have kids and part of your life, you know, I apologize, on behalf of the rest of the world for your situation, and that really sucks, and I feel for you. Um, but some of us are incapable of having children due to an accident, a defect. It could just be something. There's so many reasons, but whatever it is, it's not going to rob you of having the experience. And that's what's important here is understanding uh, what really makes you happy in life. And I talked about this in another stream, which isn't public. So, but they did this study called the Grant Study, and they follow all these people to find out what really truly made them happy through life. And if you look up the Grant Study, it's a huge one started by Harvard in 1938, the longest study of its kind, and it's a very prestigious study at that. Can't remember what year they opened it up to women because it used to be just men, but they don't just get guys from Harvard that they're studying on. They're studying from like the poorest kids, the poorest of the poor without any opportunities, those children in the Bronx, all the way to kids out in the country working for, grandpa's farm. And what they found over that study is it's not success, it's not money. These are not the things that give you a happy, fulfilling life. They definitely can help in that regards. I'd say money's a big part of happiness. I mean, you do need, I think it'll get you 30% of the way there, but that leaves quite the delta that needs to be filled for you to find happiness. So there are people that don't have money and they're poor, but yet 70% happy. And you wonder how that homeless man is so happy because he's fulfilled in so many other ways. He may have 100 homeless people that he lives with, and his human experience every day is surrounded by love. He's getting a good experience, and yes, he hates being poor and broke, but his human experiences could be better than that of a millionaire that is alone and isolated, surrounded by people, but truly alone. And if you know depression and you know what feeling hopeless truly feels like, I don't wish that on anybody. Because I'm such an emotional person. I'll get teared up. I start thinking about somebody that's hopeless, and my God, I can get there because I've been there and I know what it feels like, and I don't ever want to get there again. So, getting off track, staying focused, and that's another big part of why I've been practicing these. Like, I'm not going to read from a teleprompter. I know that there's different ways of speaking, just like music. I was successfully able to get with a group of guys, put together an hour set, get some shows scheduled, throw down, and execute, I would say decently and get really good positive feedback. And I don't know how to read music. I don't know how to read music. I can play the hell out of the guitar. I'm great at it, but I don't have a lot of like techniques that are foundational. So, but again, you can be happy, you can be successful in doing things. And if you're doing with people you enjoy doing it with, and you guys are on, there was guys that were in the band that could read music. I was with people that were capable, and together we were able to do these things. So, I don't know. Bottom line is this is about work life. I need to get good at explaining things and staying focused on point. In today's session, we're talking about work-life balance. And why am I talking about relationships and all these other things? Well, to let you put into perspective, like, and one of the big questions of the day is work-life balance. What is that? Does it exist? And I would say there's no such thing as a work-life balance. You're not going to work for 12 hours and live for 12 hours. There's no perfect balance. Or I guess you're only awake for, we'll say, 16 hours a day. If you're like me, you're awake for 18 hours a day, maybe 20. And how much of that day is actually being used for you to live your life and get fulfillment out of it, while also providing for your community and giving back, so that way you can enjoy your life, right? And I don't believe work life balance is a true thing in that regards. I think it's more about interweaving the two and making sure that you have some form of balance, that you're mindful of, I'm not, 100% work and no enjoyment. Nobody wants to be around that guy or lady. Sorry, don't want to be sexist. Um, I also believe it's important for us to have solid relationships. And building good relationships will help you have a good work life balance. Understanding what you want to do with your life will help you have a good work life balance. So, to help me stay focused, um, my company does something called sessions. And what we do is we get people together to get them all aligned so that way they have a good work life balance while they're at work. Right. And I'm going to explain a little bit more about that as I get into this. But what work life balance actually means and what it is, it's different to everybody. And what I'm hoping to do is bring some clarity around that and to maybe give some common terminology around it so we can have a good discussion around this and break it down. So what is work life balance? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 p.m. everybody. And this is just a normal work day. To me, I consider this a work day. Start at 6 a.m. You shut down at 8 p.m. This is when I head upstairs. My phone says no more ins or outs. Unless you're one of the kids or the wife. You can set your technology up to actually do to frame this for you. You can use technology, especially if you have a good ecosystem. I don't want to get too deep down the rabbit hole of Apple versus Windows, but I did make the switch. I want to say back in 2016. I was 36 years old when I made the switch from Windows to Apple, and it was more of just a testing it out thing. But I've never went back. And one of those main key reasons is because of the flawless, from my phone when it says shut off at night. I don't even get reminders dinging on my computer saying, hey, you got a new email or anything like that, unless there's something on fire or something breaking down. Like, you can still filter things. You can't be too religious about your schedule. You have to leave room for freedom. You don't ever want to lock yourself into something because you will stop growing if you do that. You need to be able to allow yourself to, you don't want to be somebody that's always like, I'm an angry person. I'm a hard worker. I have the tendency to work hard. I have the tendency to be an asshole. You're not an asshole, right? Like, so we don't want to label ourselves, because if you do that and you get too structured into your routine and you're just being like, you're just in your routine, you're going to stop growing. You're going to stop. Life is a journey, and you don't want to just, fast forward through it, right? You need to keep it challenging. Think of it as like a long video game where you're in an RPG or whatever it is, and you're trying to figure out, the best story for you. Like, it's not a joke. That's literally what we're doing here. So, work-life balance. If I work, 12 hours, does that mean I need to have 12 hours of balance of life? You can't have more of one and then less of the other. You can have, both of these boxes could be checked, intertwined, going down this here timeline. And the way this is done, have you ever worked for some place that you're not allowed to take your phone to your workstation with you? You can't use the computers for personal things. They block everything that you can potentially do. These things do help give rigid structures and allow for certain things to work, but at what cost, right? What you and it's beautiful because Kendra Ramirez from KR Digital, in one of her sessions, that she does these actual group talks, and uh, she's a speaker. She travels around and does this for a living, and she educates people on this. And I totally forgot my train of thought and why I was going down that rabbit hole. Maybe I should stick to a teleprompter. Hell, with my mind being everywhere. But anyways, can't remember where I was bringing her up for. I got all excited because of the whole Cincy AI meetup thing. And by the way, April 16th, which I do appreciate the opportunity to do a talk at that event. I'm not quite ready yet. I'm excited. I'm getting all this going, and ICORA is doing well. The MTP is growing. Rigid 6 starting to get some traction with its clients and getting some media out there. Like, things are going in the right direction. So I'm in no hurry to get the creative tech, to start talking at talk. Like, I want to organically grow and smooth into this. But April 16th, there is an AI talk, and maybe I think that's what it brought up. I hope everybody, if you're in the Cincinnati area, let me know if you're interested in going. I'm not talking at this one, but it's every month. It's the same group that we meet up once a month, and it's all about AI. When you show up, they ask you if if you're curious about AI, if you're a user of AI, or are you a builder of AI. And yeah, it's just a really cool atmosphere, really good vibe, and a lot of great people and some really awesome companies. And there's like CEOs of these companies here. So if you're looking for a job and things of that nature, like, man, if you wanted to get into the business, like, there's so many opportunities down here, you guys. It's up to you whether you want to live a life of, there's choices we have out there. We all have choices. Anyway, back to work-life balance and how I believe it's more interwoven. And I was talking to you guys about how some companies have very rigid, extremely rigid work cultures and structures internally. So let's look at some of those negatives. So the negative things about work, you know, what does it take away from life? I guess what does it negate from life? Relationships, uh, hobbies, like interests. Yeah, you can't spell for shit. We got relationships, interests, and let's say what else comes along with negating from life. It's all about time. We're not even going to write time up. Now, what does life negate away from work? Your objectives and growing, right? You need to grow your company, and if you're putting time into the kids and doing all this stuff, you're not able to focus on these things. So the negative for this, these are how these things negate each other, right? So if work is hurting my relationships while I'm at work, if work is not allowing me to express my interests while I'm at work, which there are companies that do that, and I'm going to go ahead and say it. If you have a job, you fall into this category. If you have a profession or a career, I hope you've chosen something. You just didn't get pulled into this direction. And if that is the case, don't worry. I mean, I've found myself here before. And you don't necessarily want to get into the habit of beating yourself up because of where you are. What you need to do is just understand where you are, truly understand where you are. And if you're interested in being a creative tech, we have to look at where you are in life. We also have to look at where you are with adopting technology and how you're using technology. Because again, the creative tech, what this whole thing is about, is how can we use technology to better this, to get the most out of this human experience, right? So I would even go as far as to say this is all about the human experience, right? So this is a single day, and not every day is the same. At least for me, it's not. I mean, we all have weekends, right? We all have some form of varying days, I would say. Now, for me, I'm going to go ahead and erase all this because this was just to help highlight what I'm talking about. And I'm not sure. Again, I'm still practicing to some degree while we're public. And by the way, if you're here, I'm not even paying attention to the chat. Let me go ahead and see. I guess we do have something. Hello, sorry for bothering you. Oh, I didn't even think about this, everybody. I get excited a little bit when I see like, oh, there's somebody watching. Like I know there's people watching right now, but what bothers me is that I'm getting in my stream, I'm getting spam. Yeah, and that's what I'm excited about because those streamers you guys watch online, like that. I think that's awesome, and if that's something you want to do, like I am going to be transparent as I'm doing this, and I'm looking here and I'm seeing this oily. I'm not even sure how to pronounce. Well, it looks like some kind of BS, but they're trying to solicit and sell me something. Ooh, it will help me with my streams. So yeah, I don't even want to get bogged down with that stuff. I'm sorry I'm even doing that, but yeah, if you're interested in streaming, like I hope to share with you all the pros and cons of this world, as you will, and to also let you know that this is something that a lot of people say they want to do, and I've been doing. It's actually kind of fun, and nobody wants to do it and look bad or sound bad. And where I was going with this, and the reason why I talked is I want to know if I sound okay. So if I do sound off, or if you guys are having a hard time hearing me because I'm using the built-in mics on my Mac right now, please say something. Let me know. All right. So back to the work week, right? Because not every day is the same. I'm going to do it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay. We'll count those in there as well. So, for me, the weekends are that's when I am going to get the most. That's when my time is not scheduled. Don't get me wrong, there is a schedule here, but what I mean is for work, I don't schedule anything for work. Saturday and Sundays, because of my blended family, we have a very large blended family. We have 6 kids, 2 companies, big house, 2 dogs. Just getting anxiety thinking about it right now. Anyway, that's a lot to manage right now. So I make sure that when we do have the kids for a weekend, which is every other weekend, right? Blended family. I'm making sure we're at home with those kids, and that because that's like twice a month. Sometimes you get 3 times with your children in a month, but the weekends when the kids are there, there's a couple things I know we need to do. We need to have a family dinner. So Friday night it's at the dinner table. Everybody know electronics. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna have a good family dinner. Saturday night the same thing. I know that we want to have a good discussion and chat. We used to do something called family meetings, which were required because at the beginning of a blended family, there's a lot of shit's messy. So if you've ever dealt with a blended family and getting that, building the rapport and try doing a team building exercise with a company and see them act like a bunch of kids, then actually go do it with a bunch of kids, see how that goes. But bottom line is love the kids, and we used to do these family meetings, and then it just kind of turned into the after dinner discussion, and it went from having to have a meeting to, oh, I want to talk about such and such. So it just takes time. So and we're going to talk a lot about that on this channel, on these platforms. You design the life you want, and then you build the systems to help you get to that design. You got to set your goals, but we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. I fucking love that quote. All right, and that's why we're not a kid-friendly stream, by the way, because I don't want to have to watch my mouth. Anyway, we got Saturday, or I guess that's Sunday. We got Saturday, we got Sunday. The Saturdays and Sundays when we don't have the kids, a shoot for Rigid 6, go to a movie with we're doing things that we want to do. And now obviously the wife is her own person. I know that she likes to go to her friend's house and play Warhammer or whatever it is. I wish I had time for games. I miss playing games. But anyway, you have to find your routine. And Saturdays and Sundays, unless you have a job that requires you to take those, like, Saturdays and Sundays, we all have our Saturdays. It's the weekends. If you're not familiar with this concept that we use here in the U.S., it's called weekends. Anyway, my main focus is going to be Monday through Friday. All right. This is when I set in my head, okay, this is when I get to make my magic. Remember, we got from 6 a.m. down to 8 p.m. We have 14 hours on this day, and this day. And notice I'm not putting anything on Friday. Friday, you still got 14 hours. But Friday, because I'm getting ready to tell you how this is all structured, I leave Fridays unstructured. That's a good way, I guess, to say it, is that there's no structure to my Fridays. There's no reoccurring anything on my Friday. My Fridays are my days. My technicians' Fridays are their Fridays. Account managers' Fridays are their Fridays. The systems we're building within the MTP and our work, business reviews. We have unstructured day Friday if that's the only day you can meet, but I'd rather do it on one of our structured days because we have time for scheduling things like that in the afternoons, right? So Fridays are my days. I love that concept, and I've actually taken that concept. I want that to be part of my company's culture. So as we bring on new account managers, as we bring on new technicians, you don't have to come to the office Friday. Work from home, unless you got to work at the office Friday because you did schedule something to do here, whatnot. And hopefully that's something you want to do on your, non-scheduled day, or it's something that you need to do, so that way you can do something you want to do. But bottom line is what you do when you start to frame things like this and you think about work-life balance, right? As we build our systems, I like having a flex day to be able to schedule, do whatever I want to do. And nobody wants to work on a Friday. Who wants to work on a Friday? Let's grind it out for those 14 hours in our structure. And then Friday we get to enjoy and get work done. And hell, you may not even want to work Friday. Make it a Saturday type of day. I don't know. But when you have a team of people, because remember, you have you yourself as an individual, like this all looks great, right? But as a team, you got to make sure that everybody aligns with this, right? So I want it to work for me, but I also want it to work for everybody else. Now, Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I'm basically shot until 11. And I know my teammates have been telling me that we have meetings till 11 every day. I have a meeting till 11 every day. I've looked at your schedules. I'm not seeing that. And I'm sure they probably do have meetings and it's just not on their calendars or whatever. But bottom line is I'm okay with it. I don't, we don't want to micromanage. I want a culture where we don't have to micromanage because the systems and the values and principles we're putting in place allow this to happen. So let's try to get all of our meetings done by 11 a.m. internally. And what this does is it allows us to have 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. This is what most people would call lunch. Now, I don't eat lunch. And 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. would be considered my lunch, I suppose. I know I've streamed a few times during this hour. But I know the team would probably wait till 12 to go to lunch. But for me, in my head, this is how I think. I guess you can frame it this way. Especially if you're starting at 6, you don't want to wait till 6 hours to have lunch. But I don't think anybody here is starting at 6. I'm the only madman around here. And whoop, whoop, whoop. To give you a little insight to this, one of our technicians, he is not a morning person, so he says. And we need to have our status meetings, which we do have a status meeting on Mondays. We have 8:30 status with the team. Same thing here on Thursday. This is where we go through our agenda and we just kind of cover the matters, the objectives, Do we have any wellness checks going on? Is anything on fire? Let's go through the tickets real quick. And this is all going, like, these 2 meetings are really it. We have account manager meeting here at 8:30 on Wednesday. Then an ops meeting at 9:30. Oh, I'm sorry, that starts at 10. I don't even know why I'm writing that down. It doesn't matter. At 10 o'clock, and then we're done at 11. So and then I have, meetings with clients on Tuesdays at 8:30. I have sessions here. I have sessions after these meetings here at 11. Bottom line is I have meetings with people, and I try to keep that structure within the 11, between 6 and 11 type thing. I have some clients that like to meet at 6 a.m. So yeah, it's nice to be done by 11 a.m. every day. That's essentially what I'm trying to do. I want to have all of my matters done. I want to have all my objectives. I want to have all my work done by 11 o'clock. The day-to-day, the system work. I'm still going to work from 11 until 8 p.m. Is it research and development? Is it networking? Is it community building? What do I need to do? And we do that based off of our objectives. So we have a system that allows us to stay on top of everything going on, multiple companies, and having people that can work with you and work within your organizational structure. That's the big thing is, do you have an organizational structure personally? We're going to talk about that here a little bit when we get, and I probably need to move on because we're already a half hour into this piece. All right. So I kind of want to talk to you guys a little bit about structuring, and remember, as I'm developing my days and I'm structuring it, I'm allowing freedom. I'm interweaving life. A place where, remember I wrote up your negative relationships. When you're at work, if you can't take a phone call while you're at work, or send somebody a text, some of my clients will be in a meeting and they'll get a phone call from one of their friends or something, and because of the relationships we've built and the expectations we built, and because there's nothing really on fire, go ahead, take that call. We're no rush, and that's one of the things I even told my technicians. Listen, if you ever feel like you're overwhelmed, if you feel like shit's like on fire and burning down and like you're stressed out, you better look around and see the rest of us like that, because if not, it's not okay, and you need to share that. None of us should ever get to that point unless we're all at that point. And with a small team of, there's really only 4 of us that really work close together here locally in Cincinnati. Everybody else is kind of in remote offices, and help, one of them's in India. But it works well for us, and things are going well. You got to be able to enjoy what you do. Like, if you're at work and you hate what you do and you're there for 8 hours, to me, that's sucking the life out of you. There's no balancing that. That's just torture. And some of us, you just have to do it. Like, you have to go to work. The guys that work on the oil rigs, I truly believe these guys that make buku money, that are out there on the sea, risking their life, I think they enjoy that shit. You have to be a crazy person that loves the adrenaline and working with your hands. If you look at these guys, they're all like big muscular guys that are going out there and they're grind. People are built for things, and you don't just go get a job because you're interested in it. You have to. There's just so much to it. Oh my God! And if you don't start learning about yourself and experiencing things, you're not going to grow. So the next part I want to talk about, and because I'm losing my bearings here, I need to pull up I did have some structure to this, just so everybody knows, and I forgot to put it on my computer. So, yeah, let's talk about the aspects of it when it comes to how your work-life balance does affect others around you, right? Like your family, your coworkers. I guess I've already kind of touched base on that to some degree here. But think about your coworkers and the people you work with. Having that work-life balance When you work in an environment where everybody's doing their own thing and you don't know what they're doing, um, like we have some small companies that have leaders that, everybody's apprised of the overall mission, and work is flowing out, production is happening, right? I come into the picture. It's not like they're so broken that they're not operating. They just know that there's something, there's friction, there's issues. We know we can always improve. Like even the shit that I've built already, if I started over again and came back, I could improve on all these systems and do things even better now, knowing what I know now. At some point, you got to make a decision and stick with it. But once you learn how, once a company learns to quit doing what I like to call person dependent systems, where, okay, we're going to have marketing, but all the marketing is going to be done by this person. They're going to do the posts, they're going to do the pictures, they're going to do the stories, they're going to do the calendar, they're going to do everything. To me, that's a problem, especially if you have a company of like 50 people. What we need to have is a marketing system internally, educate everybody on what that marketing system is, so that way we can get the most out of the marketing system. That's going to take so much stress off that one person, because now they're not the system, they're just managing and in charge of the system. Calendars. Calendars are such an easy way to fix culture and help your work culture and to free up everybody's time to get a better work-life balance. If you learn how to use calendars and make that a system itself, you should have a company calendar. If the content person has to make sure they are putting out relevant content on a regular basis for their company, knowing that information so they can do it quickly and efficiently will allow them to have more time to be free, and to maybe even answer that call from their friend when they call in while they're at work, and knowing everything's getting done. Work culture in the modern workplace, in the modern workforce, which is what Icora does. We come in, we get your tech stack lined up, we get it, we get what we believe the portion of our ecosystem into your tech stack if it's needed. And once we know you have a solid tech stack, that's only half the battle. Just because you have the cool technology doesn't mean you're using it right. And it starts with leadership. It really does. Because you can start showing all the individual users how to use calendars. But unless the leaders understand it and they're coaching and championing these things, it's all for fucking naught. I guarantee it. Because no visibility into these systems, no communication on these systems. Everybody's using it their own way because they all have their own little, So work-life balance is about, and if you work somewhere right now and you see that there's a lot of bad cultural things going on in that environment, you have ways to foster and contribute to the improvement of that culture. And that's what we hope to educate people with here with the creative tech is, Icora, I've been learning so much doing this with companies. And I'm very grateful for the companies that have allowed me to even put time into discussing this with me. Because even having the discussion, you can see it in themselves, and then you'll see them working the next day, and you see them talking to one of their associates, and they're reiterating or they're practicing what you've coached, and you're like, I'm making a difference by empowering these people. Now they're making a difference by empowering their people. It just starts to slowly spread. So by doing all this, by finding stuff that you're interested in and pursuing a career that you love, that's the focus for the creative tech, and having other people find similar interests and want to help you get to that objective. I mean, this is my why. This is why I started the creative tech. It wasn't because I want to make a new business venture and find a way to be lucrative on my own and not have to deal with all these people that stress me out. No, the stress that I get from all these people it's doing nothing but, when you play a football game and you're down to your fourth quarter, 2 minutes left, you're down by 10, you're so close to scoring a touchdown to put you down just by a field goal, and you only have 2 minutes left. I mean, that stress of having to get this and then get the ball back as soon as possible to get a field goal down the field. stress, competition. People always say stress is bad. Like, but if you win, it's all, oh, it was all worth it. And what equals a win? I would say, finding a successful life, getting with a group of people that you can really stress and grow with and experience things with. This is what makes the human experience so enjoyable for me, anyway. I love it when someone gives me the opportunity to work with them at a level where we get to start talking about how we're doing things and how we can improve doing things. What gets you interested? I have a friend that told me they want to clean shoes. They love cleaning shoes. It's the stupidest thing. They were embarrassed to tell me about it. That's fucking cool, man. Like, I love my shoes. Like, I wear white shoes. Can you clean my shoes, make them look new? Well, hell yeah, that's what I'm saying. I have my friends. They bring me their old shoes. I clean them up. And they look new. And they're like, I've been getting a lot of good feedback. So it sounds like you started a great journey, man. Where are we going with this thing? In my head, I'm like, well, how can you take this thing to the, like, shoe cleaning service? I'll send you a box. You put your shoes in it. You send it back to me. I'll send them back to you. They look like new. All that for $49.99. Don't go buy another $100 pair of shoes. Clean up your nice sneakers you have now. Like, I can already start thinking of the messaging, the branding, and why are we doing this? Well, because we are over consuming, people. We make so much shit in this world. You go to the stores and you see all the shit on the shelves that have an expiration date. It's not all getting sold. So do we do with all this product that's been made? We throw it away. Same thing goes for shoes. They don't expire due to old age, but they go out of style, so they come off that shelf and they just get stuck to some outlet store. They sit there forever. And after they're done there, they eventually donate. Like we make so much shit. So you're being ethically good to the world and the environment. You're, helping people keep something that they value and prize in good condition. There's a lot of value to it, and there's so many other products out there that are just, dare I say, dog water. Isn't that what the kids say nowadays? No cap. I'd be busting y'all. So I guess for me, understanding what people want to do with their life is a good starting point. Then you have to also understand where you are in your life. You know, you may have a few kids and uh, that felony on your record from whatever you did back in the day. You may have these barriers, but that doesn't mean shit. I come from a small town where it's crazy that how many people we have, and we're not pushing. At least at my school, they didn't talk about. I don't feel like anybody connected with me to explain this stuff to me. And yeah, I wish parents were the ones to do that, but our systems, in our education systems, I know they're doing their best to do it. It's just I never had anybody take the time to connect with me. But when you look at the amount of kids in school and how many kids per an adult ratio there is, and then you look at the adults in these schools, half of them are. Mr. Dorsey, by the way, my draft class, like, yeah, I was an asshole. I was smoking weed in class. That's not typically smart. Like my friend Jeremy and I, we literally, he had a substitute one day, and we were such idiots. We used to have these windows that you can open up, but they only open up like this. They had these huge curtain drapes. We thought it'd be funny to close those drapes and stand behind there and smoke weed and blow it out the window, and nobody else to tell. Well, yeah, yeah, we were dumb, and we got away with it with the substitute. So we thought we could get away with it with Mr. Dorsey being there. Oh no, he pulled us aside and reaped us such a, oh my god! But he didn't turn us in. Fucking smoked weed in the school. He busts us, and then he doesn't turn us in. Like, and at that time, I think he did something really awesome. He showed me that you, because he's a great guy. I think Mr. Dorsey was awesome. I don't know. Maybe he was a party freak, and maybe he fucked up a lot in life. I don't know him as an adult outside of school, but at school, I feel like he handled himself really well, and I respected him a lot. And by him handling the situation he did, I didn't want to smoke weed in this class ever again. I was being stupid anyway. It was more funny to me at the time. Now I realized how fucking idiot I was being, and I was only like 17 at the time. So yeah, it's crazy. Oh, I keep telling these weird fucking stories. I don't know. I guess I just want to talk. We got 15 minutes to kill, and usually in a session, right? So let me explain what these sessions are a little bit. And this is what I tried to do today, and it fucking fell off the rails big time. But hey, maybe I'll grow. You're going to see the delta as I continue to do this. I should eventually get it down to a point. So the way this works is we have a focus. And what a focus is, it's the main point of the training session. And today we made that focus life, work. And I want to draw like a little scale here. I know this is a horrible scale. Work-life balance. And then from that, we're going to have 3 topics. We wanted to talk about it, is there balance? We kind of talked about that a little bit. How does this deal with culture in the workplace and at home and all that good stuff? And then another one, and how does it affect relationships? And I think we talked on all these pieces today. But if your business subscribes to the MTP and we do training inside of your business, the very first session that we have, because these are called sessions, and I'm going to call the creative tech 1 hour, these live sessions, we call sessions. And a session has 1 focus and 3 topics. And you want to highlight those topics. It's supposed to be a 30 to 45 minute discussion with a 15 to 30 minute FNQ after. So not FNQ, but Q&A. So yeah, this is what I was attempting to do today. Failed miserably. I mean, I didn't do it in a very focused way, but it works. And the reason why we do these, we want to elaborate on this a little bit more since I don't have any. Anybody ask questions? Is there anybody talking? I don't even know how to check that right now. I got 1 person watching here. I got 2 people watching over there. I don't see anything. Oh, we got a comment here. What? I don't even know what I'm doing. Why I'm doing what I'm doing. We'll figure it out one of these days, I'm sure. Looks like we got a... Nope. Maybe. Kind of. You're not wrong on Kenton not really leading kids, bro. Oh, Carl, I know, man. And, I do have a mission on that. And because I have someone asking a question, I'm going to elaborate a little bit. There's only a few people watching right now, and I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. But what I will say is that having that 1 focus. Oh, sorry. Did you have a meeting in here? Was it on the calendar? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. Yep. I'll be out of here by 1 o'clock, so we're good. But anyway, just so everybody knows, let me do this real quick, just so I would make sure I don't go over. Hold on, everybody. Yeah, boy. Nope. Wrong one. Ah. Doop. You gotta love having a shared workspace, right? So anyway, yeah. Oh, I loved growing up in Kenton just because, that's where I grew up and there were so many pros about it. I have some negatives about it too, but we are starting the growinguphere.com. And I tried this, I think back in 2019, 2020. I can't remember exactly. I put a pause on it, but I'm going to do it again. In my hometown, there's really, when I was growing up, We had skate lands. I mean, I'd be there 2, 3 days a week if I could. You know what I mean? Bowling's okay, and I know they still have the bowling alley, but it's not really somewhere you want to go hang out with your friends. It's more like you go there with your parents, and you might be able to see your friends there. It's not like let's go hang out at the bowling alley. I never felt that as a kid anyway. I know they have the Y now, and that's really popping for kids, but for a kid that was into metal and music and art and being creative, there is no such outlet. And the skating rink gave that. I mean, hell, I was even in dance contests as a stupid kid. I love dancing. I love playing music. I love performing. I love living. In Hardin County right now, their youth, other than the Y, what is there for creatives? And I'm sure somebody out there, I'm just not there, so I don't know. And I want to, so I had this idea. This was at the beginning of when I started doing well, and I started the business and things like, oh, I can do anything. And that is true. Just so you know, you can have anything you want, but you can't have everything you want. And what to unpack that, really what that means is you have to know what you want in life. You can't have anything you want. It's a matter of when and if you can get there. Like, you want that beautiful home? Well, make that your goal. Figure out your financials that you need to have happen and what you actually need to have that happen. If you don't know what that means, go find somebody that has the home similar to what you want and ask them. Talk to them. Say, hey, what does this look like? I mean, just for the home, how do I have this? What do I need to have? And they're going to tell you some form of another, like how much funds you have to have and how they were able to build their wealth to get to that point. And a lot of times you're going to find people that were born into it, but in our hometown, no, you have to get out of Kenton, it feels like, in order to get somewhere. And yeah, I was too early when I started growing up here.com. Had a lot of people interested in it, and I still have that whole thing put together. I still have the list of people that were helping, even the people I pissed off. Hopefully I can reach out to them again and say, hey, listen, I understand, I wasn't ready at first. I'm really interested in getting something at Kenton that I feel like will help the youth there. Here's version 2.0. Can we have another? Are you willing to have a discussion about it this time? So yeah, and I've grown so much more since then as well. And I would love to come there and help explain, just by putting something cool there, with the wrong leadership running the place, it could turn into the wrong thing. So we need to really make sure that we have a solid mission. We understand exactly why we're bringing it there. And it is. It's to give the kids an outlet to have the experience to figure out what they want to be when they grow up. I love working with technology and cameras and stuff. What class did we have that taught us these things? What teachers there had this kind of stuff? And with YouTube being out there and with us being able to learn so much more from people around the world without being in the same room, I mean, there's just so much more advancements in technology today. So we were at a loss back then. Making good work-life balance today for our kids, if you're a parent and you're not encouraging your kids to do extracurricular activities and you're not working with them and teaching them to focus on one thing for a long period of time and helping them develop their social skills by getting involved with clubs and doing things like, really, I mean, what are you fostering? What are you bringing into the world? So, think about that. And a lot of us, I can imagine parents that realize they need to be doing that stuff and they're struggling for themselves, like that's just I found myself in that position. And even now, I mean, I hear people telling me that, like, oh, Joe, you're on fire, doing good. I'm still cautious of putting myself out here because I still have so many, self-esteem issues and care about how I'm perceived. And there's things that, there's the ugly things, the demons that you're afraid of discussing. So really being authentic and finding out what you want to do in life, you can have anything in life. And I'm wanting the Creative Tech to be a source for that. I am going to cut it down a little bit earlier so I get the lights switched back. This is a training space. Multiple people will come in here and use it, but this is the Rigid 6 studio as well. Again, my name is Joseph Sunderman. This was a session on work-life balance, and I kind of explained how sessions work and what these sessions are. I'll be doing these regularly. Saturdays, I want to do a live session with a group. We're getting people together to start that. So I look forward to doing those sessions as well. Yeah. Hope everybody keeps it heavy. Keep it real. Love you, bastards, and we'll see you next time. Peace.